Military survival expert. Rates 9. Oh, no.
What she's managing now is superhuman. She would have lost a manual dexterity. Hi, my name's John Hudson. I'm the UK military's chief survival instructor, land or sea, Arctic, desert or jungle. And I train the trainers how to teach that to everyone else in the UK military. Today we're going to be looking at ocean survival scenes in movies, and we're going to be judging how real they are.
Oh, no. He's going to be talking about how you fucking survived the ocean, bruv. We're going to do crime in a second. Hold on.
That looks to me like they're diving vertically at the sea and nobody will survive. It'll be like hitting concrete. What tends to happen in airplane ditchings is you're just trying to do a controlled landing on water like Sully did, like Tom Hanks does on the Hudson. The water's going to flush backwards. The best place for Tom Hanks to sit, or any of us to sit in that sort of scenario, is probably near an overwing exit. Definitely be near an exit. If you take cold water, you can only hold your breath for about 5 or 10 seconds. And the lethal dose for salt water is 1.5 litres. So if you're on an aeroplane and you're not near the exit and it fills with, or a helicopter, and it fills with cold water and you go, you're going to die because you've taken the lethal dose of salt water into your lungs. Have a feel, because you check next time you're on an aeroplane, when they say your life preserver is under your seat, have a look around and see if anyone checks. I always do. Remember, in a sinking aeroplane though, do not inflate it until you're outside, because as it sinks, you'll be trapped inside the fuselage. Another bit of Hollywoodism, because all of these life rafts have a weak link on them. So if there's any strain like this put on the life raft, the cord will tear away without ripping the life raft. So that if it's attached to a sinking aeroplane, the aeroplane sinks, you don't get dragged down with it. It's built in. It's a clever design feature. He can hold his breath because he's in the tropics, but it's at night and it's...
Is his hair wet as an effect? Yeah, what the fuck's going on there, dude? What's happening there, dude?
He pulled up the PC Gamer article saying you wanted to shoot Cubans. Oh, well, in that case, we will watch all this on shit. Fuck it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, here we fucking go, dude. Here we fucking go. Okay. I'm not engaging.
The storm, so in all likelihood, the air temperature and everything else is going to be cold. It'll churn the sea up a little bit. You'll get that mixing, so it won't be warm water that he's in. It still is going to limit how long he can hold his breath for. It's a little bit of Hollywood going on.
PSA reminded the chat should not go into D-chat and promote for this drama. What? Dude. I literally ban people that fucking even bring it up. So, if you unironically think that, like, I want this to keep going, like, no one's fucking going there, idiot.
I think this bit. In that kind of storm, is the fuel likely to have caught fire? Probably not. But it makes for a good scene, doesn't it? It looks cool. The aeroplane's landed with such force that it smashed apart and caught fire, and yet we've still got an engine which weighs several tons above the water. So we're kind of playing with time and reality for a brilliant scene here. It's only going to get 4 out of 10 for realism.
Is there anyone alive out there?
This is people from the Carpathia coming to try and find survivors from the Titanic. What signs of life you'll be able to detect? Maybe a ripple, there's some small movement, but by this point people are going to be unconscious. There's no way you can survive in water that temperature for even more than an hour. You know, half of us will be dead within 45 minutes. So the only people who would have survived were those who were floating on or in something rather than in the water itself. You can see the ice in her hair, that's realistic. When we do ice-breaking drills in the Arctic with our guys, as soon as you get out of the frozen lake, your hair's like glass straight away. But if you both wanted to survive, your best chance is to both try and get on. It'll be a little bit wobbly, but you're going to lie still. And like we know, the sea was super calm that night, so you've got a good chance of getting on there. If you can get the big arteries away from the water, like your femoral arteries or under your armpits and around your neck, you'll survive for longer.
Come back. Come back. Come back.
What could she do to raise his attention while she's actually on there? Maybe she's got something she can clank together to raise a metallic noise. That would carry a long way. That point there where she jumps into the water, what happens to humans on immersion in cold water is that you have an absolutely uncontrolled gasp response, absolutely uncontrollable. So the main problem with Hollywood films about cold water survival is that they never gasp and they never hyperventilate for about a minute afterwards. And it's absolutely uncontrollable. she probably wouldn't have been able to swim, initially at first. We've tested Olympic athletes at the Institute of Naval Medicine on how people respond to this, and gold and silver medalists can't do this. What she's managing now is superhuman. She would have lost a manual dexterity. Absolutely no chance of being able to do that when you're that cold. That's the Inuit sign for greeting, proving that you've got manual dexterity, which is why, grimly, in the bottom of life rafts, you often find human teeth, because it's impossible to open packets. People try to rip them out with fists and teeth. So to adjust a small whistle into your lips, when it's going to be frozen to that guy's lips anyway, and then stick it in your own mouth, super unlikely. That's why in modern life rafts we give them plastic whistles, because they're not as prone to those problems. When we get to the specifics about survival and rescue, 2 out of 10. I know of one person from Iceland who survived conditions like this, and that's a miracle.
Matt, 2 or 3 sips a day, yeah? You gotta make it last.
If you're not in control of your situation, you've got to try and find something that you can control. And that's generating a small routine of tasks. Heliographs are a brilliant survival item, packed in most military survival kits. Each little reflective square, each inch of reflectivity will project the sun back about 10 miles, so a 2-inch square like that's good for 20 miles, which for the size and weight of it is phenomenal. This is a pretty accurate view of what people look like after they've been baked in the sun in a life raft for a while. And what you can do to try and prevent that is use anything for shade. So commonly people will take the shirts off and use it as a shade shelter. All life rafts these days have got shade shelters on them. You're going to get blistered and burnt. What people have actually tried to do, if they've got no medicine supplies with them, is any grease they can find. There was a guy in the Second World War who, in his post-action report, described using his finger and any little bit of grease, like maybe behind his ear, trying to use that to parched lips that crack and bleed. People will catch seabirds in life rafts and try to eat them. One of the best things to pack as survival food is a can of dog or cat food, because you'll only eat it if you're really hungry. Same with an albatross. What people try to do to make it more palatable is normally to dry it. So if they've got any kind of thin lines, they can dry it in the sun, so you get a kind of seabird jerky.
I don't think I can do it. We gotta try.
Only eat it if you think it won't make you sick. If you're ill and you're sick, you lose the calories you've actually got in your stomach and the fluid that's with it, which is worse for you. But the problem with foods like that, proteins, is it takes fresh water to digest. And the bigger problem that survivors have at sea is water acquisition, because you need water far sooner than you need food. We can survive for weeks without eating, but you can't survive more than a few hours or days in scorching sun without water. So if you eat protein, it'll exacerbate the not drinking part, which is one of their major problems. But if you haven't got loads of water, don't eat the albatross. It's long enough for you to try and grab the tail away from the bitey end. What you can do, like, he's giving it a good shoeing. What you can do with sharks, if you catch a small enough one, is turn it upside down. And when you flip them upside down, they go into a tonic state, which makes their sort of, oh, what's happening? I'd give this one 10 out of 10. This is the scenario that we train our aircrew for. Surviving in a life raft at sea, where the life raft is something that's packed along with the aircraft survival kit. They are far more at risk from us than we are from them. But great whites, specifically, are very unlikely to take mammals from rocks. You see orcas do it, killer whales will do it, but great white sharks, it's unlikely. What they're trying to do is just get easy meat. If you're on a rock, you're not easy food. Can you outswim a shark? No. Should you try? No. When sharks attack, there's not a lot you can do about it. If you're in a group, if you're huddled, try and stay together. Don't start smashing the water or doing any violent movements, because that'll attract them. You want to be unattractive to this thing. You want to look and feel like something it's not used to eating. It all depends on what kind of jellyfish, and goodness knows what they're supposed to be, but some of them are lethally dangerous, aren't they? Swim into jellyfish, the shark's definitely going to have a munch at you. Even if it's just an exploratory bite because you're bleeding, that could be enough to sever an artery and then you'll bleed out. Shark's skin's incredibly thick. The thinnest part is on the nose, so if you did have the choice, which you won't have, and you did have a weapon, which you probably won't have, and you were going to have a go, then yeah, go for it around the nose. Entertainment rating, I don't know, 7 out of 10. Realism rating, maybe a 2.
Where's the beach? Frank, wake up!
It's not uncommon for people to drift out of range of getting back into land. It's a really common way for people to get into difficulties. One of the first senses you lose in a survival situation is your sense of humour. And you know that in your mates. If they've ever had a real crisis in their life, and it's not right to joke about it, they won't joke about it. In a life raft, what you can do is take 5. Now, really difficult if you're 2 people in a 1-person raft, but if it's any other sort of scenario, either shut up for 5 minutes or just take a break, just take that time out.
It should have been you! No!
Luckily, life raft knives have got a blunted end and they float, because that's the next thing that would happen.
Are you talking about killing and eating me, Frank? Maybe I am, maybe I ain't. Rum ham.
Certainly in the accounts that I've come across from British mariners, if you're in a life raft and it's all getting a bit difficult and everyone's really, really hungry, then you're going to get, one of you is going to get eaten. They used to draw lots in life rafts back in the day, like 1700s and so, even up until then. Normally it was the young cabin boy that got knocked on the head, so all the old sweats have probably rigged the draw, but yeah, they draw lots. You don't need to eat that urgently. We can survive for weeks without food. So yeah, cannibalism, not that high on the list.
All I'm saying is that when you go into survival mode, it's every man for himself.
What is survival mode? I don't know. And no, it's not everyone for himself. It's everyone together. Realism, 10 out of 10. So people haven't thought about it and haven't been trained will probably react. So by trying to free the mast that was bashing into the side of the boat, she's unfortunately got tangled up in the sail that's now dragging her down. One of the things we teach pilots to do is to get away from their parachute, because it'll do exactly the same. But you can actually breathe through them. So there's a little air pocket. So she did the right thing there.
Looking good, Mama.
Duct tape's amazing, isn't it? You can fix most things with it. It's commonly put in survival packs. You've got to test somewhere first. You've got to make sure it's clean and dry. Difficult at sea, but it's a calm day, because if there's any moisture, that'll affect the adhesive. So the first thing to do is protect yourself from the hazards, which she's done. The next thing she needs to do is get rescued, be located, as we call it in military survival. So she's going right the way through it logically, and she's doing exactly the right things, try to get rescued. And then later, when she's got some kind of message for help out there, then yeah, I'll worry about water and food. What we'll tend to do is throw a line to them if they're compos mentis. But if they're unconscious or if they're further away than we can throw the line, then we'll tie it around someone's middle, just like she's done. So what she's doing is absolutely the same as we would teach people to do. She hasn't got a life preserver on, is the one thing I pick her up for on that. Pulling someone out of the water is really hard work. If they've got a buoyancy aid on, what you can do is sort of almost semi-submerge the body, and then the buoyancy will give you a kick up. But with a high-sided vessel, or a relatively high-sided vessel like that, it's really tricky. And the other problem with getting people out of the water, not a lot of folk know about hydrostatic squeeze and post-rescue collapse. Prioritising her survival options, protection, location, water and food, that gets a 10 out of 10. So, what can you do in this situation if you're these guys? If there's a massive wave like that coming straight at the boat, there's not a lot they can do. The reason he's accelerating is like when you're trying to paddle out through a big set, when you're surfing, you try and go a bit faster to get beyond it before it breaks. So, and that's about all they can do, but it's wrong place, wrong time. You can't turn a boat around fast enough if the wave's coming that quick. If you get caught sideways on, it's going to tumble and destroy it. You could try and outrun it, but it's not, that boat isn't built for speed. What could you do? Emergency position indicator beacons that will broadcast a satellite where you are, have one of those on your person, have a survival suit, have a life preserver, and if the boat becomes untenable because the sea's just too big, if you look at the top of the bridge house on the fishing boat, that white canister is a life raft. Even when the cribber's going off, when it's really big, it's nothing like that. They do happen though. There's varying theories as to what creates them. Mostly it's down around the South Africa region. There's an Antarctic current that comes up, meets the warmer water and creates this kind of enormous pitching that has broken ships in half in the past. This is a 10 out of 10. There's a Seafarers Institute for a reason, to look after the families of those who get lost at sea. It's a really, really harsh environment. It's a typical kind of scenario where people will get into trouble. There's something like 300 or 400 of those shipping containers go into the sea every year, and they just float around near the surface. So you're not going to know, especially at night. It makes total sense. When things get wet with salt water, as it evaporates, like it would do in that climate, it forms little salt crystals. He's checking out his communications equipment, and by washing it off with fresh water, that'll get rid of the salt crystals that could stop them working. He'll let it dry in the sun. He's not using loads of water. You can see he's being really...
No. To the people who are saying in the chat that I'm not watching because I'm scared of the ocean, that's not true. I am scared of the ocean. That part is true. Okay, I am. And it's a normal fear that people have because I'm smart and because I'll die if I'm in the ocean. Not an area, it's not a habitat that is made for me. It's not. It's just made for fishes. Okay? It's literally a habitat created exclusively for fishes, not for humans. I just want people to recognize that. I want them to comprehend this fact, this basic fact, dude. Anyway.
Really careful about measuring it out. And that should make his sat phone work again later, and we can tell it's a sat phone from the antenna. If the repair works, albeit a little bit Heath Robinson, he can phone for help. But if you've been on a life raft for even a few hours, it gets uncomfortable. If you've been in one for hours, days, weeks, months, terrible. And you get to your wit's end. So in this scene, what Robert Redford's trying to do is just generate a little light. And it's difficult at night. I mean, the moon's bright behind him, and what you can do with a mirror is reflect moonlight, but it's difficult on water because all the waves, the little ripples are reflecting. So what Robert's trying to do is make a small fire, a contained fire in his raft. Now that is fraught with danger. Typically, if people run out of pyrotechnics, they're going to scream and shout, but you can't be heard across open water. But what he could have done is, as well as packing...
Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm going to add this to the watch next, I guess. How do I do that? Okay, fuck it. I'll be back in 1 second.
Some pyrotechnical light devices, pack a laser flare, because they're brilliant. This is not uncommon for people to have to make these really critical life-death decisions, and it's an all-or-nothing thing, isn't it, if it doesn't work. There's an amazing anecdote from Greenland in the war where 3 American airmen who were stranded on the coast set fire to their warm jackets in the winter, and knowing that if people saw the fire, they'd get rescued, and if they didn't, they'd freeze to death. In terms of realism, for the scene where Robert Redford makes a small fire, accidentally sets fire to his whole raft, realism 9. Lots and lots of life rafts and lifeboats have got little manuals in them. And this is one of the sort of standard diagrams that you'll see in it, like ocean currents and where the water will take you. I know it's all metaphor, but would you be able to trail behind a metal lifeboat on a section of oars and life jackets? I mean, people have survived in worse, but that is pretty clever, isn't it? Triangles are one of the strongest structures you can make. It's minimising the amount of knots he's got to tie. It's got a little bit of give in it for the sea.
Establish a strict schedule for eating, keeping watch, and getting rest.
Spot on. Getting a routine is absolutely critical. You can sense the passing of time by watching the movement of the sun. So if you put your arm out, and this is the same for all of us because our hands and our arms are about the right proportion, that's 10 degrees, which is just under an hour. 15 degrees is how much the sun moves in an hour. So you know that you've got as many of those as it is for the time of year before sunrise and sunset. So there are things you can do to keep track of time.
Do not drink urine or seawater.
Yes, never, stop. Right, everyone, are you hearing me? It will actually make you die quicker, because if you drink anything that's salty, it exacerbates the problem of dehydration.
Above all, don't lose hope.
The first point I should say, being a proper survival geek, is never cut into metal with your knife because it'll just blunten it. But if you go to the Imperial War Museum, not far from where we're filming this, there's a boat in there from the Anglo-Saxon we spoke about, and it's got notches in the gunnel for how long they survived at sea. And that's, you will lose track if you haven't got some form of log, and paper will get wrecked and ruined. So yeah, just keep a mental thread of what's been happening. It's a good 8 or a 9, I think. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, why not click on the video above?
My man's like, I know it's a metaphor, but pretty fucking realistic. I'd go so far as to say the most realistic part of this video. Holy shit, look at my fucking recommender right now. Expert Survivalist rates 10 wilderness things. Have we seen this one?
I'm really glad that the wild is not like that, because I would be dead 1,000 times over.
Wait, no, we have seen this, right? I think we have, right? Wait, how new is this? Oh, we definitely have not seen this.
My name is Laura
Hell
Zara.
yeah.
I'm a survival specialist, and I've been practicing and teaching wilderness survival for over 17 years. I participated in 5 seasons of the Discovery show Naked and Afraid. Today I'll be looking at wilderness survival scenes in movies and judging how real they are. Unexpected falls and falls in general are actually one of the biggest ways people die when they're in the backcountry. It doesn't always have to be a cliff face. It can just be a steep slope. It's definitely something to look out for. As far as climbing into a horse as a means of survival, it would totally work. The length of time it would work for is going to be limited. And I think the biggest mistake that he did was not taking that gut pile and cuddling it, because there's so much bacteria in guts that continue to stay alive and produce heat once the animal's already dead. So the guts are really where the heat is. There's certain kinds of clothing, like wool, that will still keep you warm and add some heat, even if they're wet. I think being naked, you're already dealing with losing heat through being wet and any gusts that are getting in through that hole. So it seems a little risky to take your clothes off if you don't have to. As he's pulling that gut pile out, he realizes it's warm. And why would you not have it at least kind of sealing up the door that you're in? I would give this clip a 7. I think that it's pretty smart. It takes a lot of guts, no pun intended, to be able to do something like this.
I've brought with me only the bare essentials.
Okay, that one is... I like that they go from The Revenant to The Office, dude.
Knife, roll of duct tape, in case I need to fashion a shelter.
I actually think someone on Naked and Afraid once brought a roll of duct tape as their survival item. And they're supposed to be professionals, so.
And take a look at this. I tented my pants. I've made myself a nice pants tent shelter.
I love that clip. I think it's clearly ridiculous, and yet at the same time, he probably did better than a lot of people in his situation would do. He was looking at what he had and trying to figure out how he could creatively use it. Now, I think taking your clothes off, like your clothes are already a shelter. They're already like your first form of shelter. So taking them off to make a secondary shelter probably isn't going to be great. But it's better than running around in circles until you're completely dehydrated and exhausted.
Those are nature's best mushrooms. These little buggers are damn tasty as well.
Eating the mushrooms is a terrible idea. Even when mushrooms are edible, a lot of them in the wild you have to cook. So yeah, he would have died pretty quick in that situation. If it wasn't for the mushrooms, I would have given Michael's survival skills a 4, because he's at least thinking about what he needs to do and trying to be creative about it. And that's a great start. Well, he's in trouble, but how many times do wolves actually attack humans? And the answer is almost never. I think there's like a couple documented cases of that happening in North America, and I see wolves pretty much every single time I'm out in the woods. Wolves are terrified of people. If wolves wanted to hunt people, people wouldn't go in the woods because they're amazingly effective predators. They outmatch us on every physical front. They just don't have any interest. We don't look like food. If you did run into an extremely desperate wolf who was thinking about the possibility that you might be a food source, then you want to make yourself look as big as possible, put your arms up, start yelling, make some noise, kick some rocks at it. Wolves can run over 30 miles an hour, so running is gonna do nothing. I don't know who else has ever used electric tape, but it's not this rigid stuff. That stuff's just gonna end up breaking off further, probably before it penetrates the wolf's really thick fur and hide. And I could see him getting more hurt from doing that than any benefit it would serve. Creative, again, really like his mindset. He's kind of just willing to do whatever and be creative to survive. I would give this clip a 1 because you're already starting on really false pretenses. I don't like when this myth of wolves being man-eaters, man-hunters is perpetuated.
I got it! Somebody help me!
I'm really super focused at this moment on what he used for a mechanism to get that much force on that trap, because that was impressively fast and strong. There's a lot that goes into making a trap like that. Sharpening a bunch of stakes and setting them into another log, I mean, we're talking hours, and then just setting the trap and coming up with the right tension on like the mechanism that's you're using to trigger it, and then finding a place to put it.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I feel like this person is in the pocket of Big Wolf, okay? Don't get too mad at me, but it's awfully suspicious that she keeps saying wolves are fucking sick, they won't eat you. Definitely if you see a wolf, go up and, you know, kiss it in the mouth, you know, put yourself down on the ground and act like it will eat you. Or just make yourself more delicious by, I don't know, bathing in things that wolves like to eat. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Spread yourself in front of the wolf, yeah. And, you know, oink like a pig, make yourself more appetizing. Another thing you can do to avoid the wolves is by avoiding is the same as actually the ads at the top of the hour, which is a 60-second ad break that comes at the top of the hour, okay? I fucked that up so hard. But, yeah, Twitch Prime. That's how you avoid wolves. Or which is free, or just a $5 subscription, or an ad blocker, or a VPN. Here's the ad.
A trap only works if you have someone walk into it. So the way you get around that is either to set a lot of traps, which would take a lot of time, or by funneling the movement in. So it's not something you can just do on the fly and expect to work.
Don't push it.
Camouflage is absolutely useful in survival, whether it's, you know, in a situation where you're clearly trying to run from someone, or maybe you're just hunting. He had, I think there were hemlock branches on his back. But unless he's hiding with his back towards everyone, it's not going to be useful, because the idea is to break up the form so that you don't look like a person. And I could say the same about his face camo. Like, maybe do a better job of like working with your face to make it look less like your eyes are standing out and your eyebrows. I mean, his eyebrows were so dominant still. So creating some kind of color scheme on his face where his eyes and his eyebrows were less dominant would have done better than just like smearing stuff everywhere. I would give this a 5. Realistically, I struggle with the time invested in the trap. Some really accurate portrayals of survival skills in here. The hand drill is amazing, like spot on, totally would work. I think the biggest problem I have is when you're trying to forge, it's really hard to get a temperature that's high enough to forge metal when you're using wood. I think a wood fire can burn at about 900 or so degrees. You need about 1500 to start moving metal. Otherwise, to get the metal that hot seems really unlikely to me. If I'm in a survival situation and I don't have a knife, I will use stone all the time. It's obviously ideal if you have a steel knife, but by adapting the way that you do things, a stone knife or stone tools can actually accomplish the same tasks. Dealing with metal requires so many specific things that stone's gonna work for whoever you need to kill or whatever task you need to accomplish. I basically just want a knife that has an edge that is gonna be able to carve wood. So for traps, for skinning animals, having a smaller knife, anything where you're carving or doing fine, intricate work, something smaller is gonna be better. I would give this clip probably an 8 out of 10. I think it was really surprisingly accurate. The one thing was the fire. Oh, another example of animals just being out to get you in the most dramatic fashion. I'm really glad that the wild is not like that, because I would be dead 1,000 times over. Grizzly attacks are definitely more common than wolf attacks, and it can happen. Usually a grizzly is attacking in a defensive situation. Either you surprised it, there's a mother and cub situation. Basically, you got too close and it wants to get you away. It's not gonna hunt you and consume you per se. It's just trying to get you on the ground so you're not moving, and then it's gonna take off and run away. Normally, I think it would be more a case of that happening when it was a single person walking along versus like a whole group around a fire, but it can happen. Depending on where the bear is, a lot of times they're pretty used to fire if they're coming into camp and they're used to stealing food. I have a hard time thinking that if you have a log that's burning with embers at the end and you're shoving it into a bear's eye, that it's not going to at least slow him down a little bit. I wouldn't just wave it in his face. I think that's where they messed up a little bit. And everyone else, like, throw some stuff at him. They didn't even make contact. If they're gonna stay and fight, then fight. If it was a situation where you surprise the bear and the bear starts attacking and it's just trying to get away from you, then that's when you wanna play dead. Stop moving, don't move until the bear is long gone. Try to be in areas where you can see further than, 20 feet and carry bear spray. I would give this scene a 1. Not saying it doesn't happen, but this was very unrealistic, and the way they responded was just like, come on, there's better things you guys could have done. First of all, is that Kate Winslet? Which is just funny that she didn't find a door this time to float on. There's a lot of things I'm not
fucking owned.
Not buying in this clip. She basically falls through a perfect hole of ice. I really struggle with the fact that the second she hits the water, she's just peacefully passed out. There's no struggle, there's no hyperventilating. Is she just like one of those fainting goats who comes into a bad situation and is no longer conscious? That's what it felt like watching
Owned
this.
twice.
She was immediately just out. And it can happen. You can pass out, you can hyperventilate, breathe water, whatever, but it happens so soon. How did he find her in there? It's obviously deep water, and she apparently just is comprised of mostly fat underneath her clothes because she was so buoyant. It seemed very improbable for...
Damn, dude. Yo, she hates Kate Winslet, dude. That's drama. That's actually drama Mondays, drama Tuesdays, drama fucking Wednesdays, Thursdays, dude. What are you, just made up of just fat, dude? How are you so buoyant?
Someone to just float back to the surface and not float away to the sides of the hole and be able to be grabbed. He had to run so far to get to that hole.
It was like, Bait can't do Naked and Afraid. Yeah, that's right.
And her body is just right there. It's a little too convenient for me to be okay with. When he was pulling her body out of the ice, it was good that at least his body was kind of spread out. His body weight wasn't just centered on the edge. I would rate this clip probably a 1. I just don't understand any of it.
I've never seen this. I heard it's a great movie. I'd never seen it.
If I'm trying to learn an area, I will absolutely bring some kind of book to help me identify what I'm looking at, whether it be plants, animal tracks, things like that. It's super useful to learn. It's also very limited. You might get one picture at one time of the year of a plant. So to just have one.
Okay, controversial take. Are you ready? I feel like I will never use survivalist shit because there's just no shot I'm gonna ever be in a situation where I need to utilize survivalist stuff because I'll be dead. Like, there's no way I'm surviving like a plane crash. You know what I mean? And also, there's no way I'm surviving a boat crash because, like, I'd rather just die at that point. Like, I know an octopus is gonna fucking suck me up and murder me. And you know I'm not going to go hiking or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Why would I do that? That's psycho shit. You're walking, but also on a mountain. No thanks. There's nowhere to go. It's like my least favorite activity, but then I'm doing it on a fucking mountain? Why would I do that? Anyway, so let's keep going.
One resource and then use it to consume something that could potentially kill you, in my opinion, isn't a great idea. Out in the wild, you just have to be really careful. You are not going to be consuming something that you're not 100% certain of its identity. It's a really bad idea. And furthermore, you're probably not getting that many calories. It's not going to be the matter between life or death. You can't really exist off of the few meager calories you're going to get from a lot of plant foods. So to run the risk of eating it, not knowing 100%, it's like a risk versus reward thing, and it loses out every time. You really can get into trouble very quickly, and there's certain things you can do that will really increase that. There's very few things you can actually control, but what you put in your body is one of those. So don't mess around with anything that you can't identify 100%. I would give this clip a 10, honestly.
Isn't that a real story? Wait, what is this? Hayden Ross could 100% survive a plane crash. Maybe he deserves my Twitch Prime sub. I just wish you liked the ocean and would be an instant W streamer.
Honestly, it's definitely something that can and did happen.
Free watch.
This is a remarkably unsmoky fire. Wildfires can travel really fast. They can basically travel as fast as the wind. That being said, it really seemed to be traveling on the ground a lot, and it didn't look like there was any brush there to catch on fire. But it can happen, and fires are super scary, and being caught in one would be like absolutely terrible. If you can, getting upwind of that fire, trying to...
To be fair, this is like a Tuesday in California. Like, that's exactly how this is, like, all the time.
You know, figure out the direction it's moving in and kind of move perpendicular to it and get out of the path of it, because the smoke can take you out. Anyone who's ever stood in campfire smoke, you know what that's like. A forest fire would clearly be way worse. You know, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all these nasty things. You basically just want to get out of its path if you can. Sometimes that's kind of impossible, and there's unfortunately a lot of stories where people have been caught in situations like this and didn't make it out, even highly trained people.
Listen to me. Take a deep breath, hold it, and lay back.
I've literally gone to work while this shit was like popping off in the mountains behind me. And like took fish with me too, because I was like, actually, I think I was streaming at the time, so you guys might remember, like really old fans. But like, yeah, when I used to live in Brentwood, there was like a fucking insane wildfire. Wildfires are a funny joke. Are you offended that I'm making fun of how frequently we have fucking wildfires in California? A thing that I also personally experience as well? Bro, what is wrong with people, dude? Y'all, are you trying to be the least likable people on the planet? What's up? My dad is a wildfire
I've actually read about people who've survived wildfires by being in pools or bodies of water. And kind of the key thing is that you want it to be deep enough that it's going to cover your whole body and not just immediately get too hot. The flames can actually pass over the top of the water, so if your body's sticking out, it can definitely be a bad situation. The problem with deep water would be, getting exhausted or just passing out and drowning. But in certain circumstances, it could definitely work. I think it really looked like their only option, and people have definitely done it and survived. I think the one thing I would have done differently would be wetting an item of clothing, and then when I did have to come up and surface, you have a wet piece of clothing over your face so it's cooling down that air, because that air is going to be super heated. Like, that goes into your lungs, and even if there's not smoke, just the super hot air can burn the inside of your lungs. That cool cloth over your face is going to not only protect your face from any falling embers, but it's going to cool down the air and just keep your skin cool as well. I would probably give this scene a 7. There's a lot of things with the fire I have trouble with, but they did try. They put thought into it. This could work. It's better than nothing, but there were ways it could have been improved. Ice is funny, so you can't always tell the thickness of ice. You want it to be at least 4 inches to support your body weight. And there's a few factors that make it more dangerous, whether it's still or moving water, where it is, if it has snow on top, which can actually insulate it like a blanket and prevent it from becoming really thick. If you look at ice, generally if it's clear, then it's going to be thick, but if it's kind of that milky color, it means it's gone through processes of thawing and freezing and probably isn't that thick or safe. And if you do have to go out on it, you don't want to be running. What you have is your entire body weight coming down hard and fast on one point that's small. So if you had to cross something, getting flat, spreading your body weight out, there's a million ways they could have done it. There's definitely a risk of wet clothing. If they were to swim across and everything got wet and they couldn't start a fire, they could be in a bad situation. Being way back then, I think a lot of it would have been wool clothing, which actually will keep you warm when it's wet. It's not ideal to have it be wet. You're not gonna have as much as the insulating properties, but you'd still be okay if you were moving, and they could just keep moving until their body heat dried their clothes out. People die in a few minutes in cold water. It's not from hypothermia, it's from going into that shock and drowning, or losing mobility in their limbs and drowning. I would give the accuracy of this a 1. I think the biggest movie myth in wilderness survival is that it's always something big and dramatic that's coming and trying to get you. And in real survival, it's not like that. It's the little things, it's the hypothermia, it's dehydration, but it's not as exciting as a grizzly bear. If you enjoyed this video, click above to watch another.
Do you think she's a full Trump chud? I don't know, but I'm into it.
We're joined by the legendary Scott Adkins.
He's done a backflip.
I've
done that one in a home movie that I made.
It's true. It's literally fucking true, dude. It's actually true. Murder React?
So today's video...
The Coronation Street Killer? No, dude, that's fucking bruv kills. We're not doing bruv kills anymore.
Oh, no. The first time I fought Jackie Chan. Oh, there's a story behind that I need to tell you.
Dude, I'm so hot right now.
Thanks to Wright for sponsoring this video. Stick
around. I put more pepper on this one this time on my curry. It is fucking crazy, dude.
around to the end to see how you can get 15% off.
This is atrocious. Oh man. Scott, we love you, but as a brother, we want to make fun of you a little bit.
Hey everybody, we are back with another wonderful episode of Stuntmen React. We are joined by the legendary Scott Adkins. He actually came out and joined us. This is super cool. I'm actually a little nervous.
Dude, I am not watching an Aiden Ross impulsive podcast, dude. That is incredible. Like you're crazy, Lil Krish.
I'm nervous too, right, Nico. Now that I'm here. Well, listen, guys, I'm a fan of the show. I have to, it's a shame Eric's not here, so I'll get my own back on him. But never mind.
Well, we have some amazing clips we're going to be jumping into today. You fought against some of the most legendary martial arts stars of all time. You know, Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa. Can't wait to hear what those experiences were like, but I also really want to dig into some of your fights and your experiences and like the stories that you have from your years of working in the business.
My very first martial arts job was with your uncle.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It was a teaser trailer for Black Mass 2 to pre-sell the movie.
Yeah.
And he worked me so hard that I was almost physically sick. And that's the only time I've ever worked with him.
Yeah.
Thank for that. Why are we starting with the one where I...
This guy's, so is he like the automatic villain in every Kung Fu movie? Like the Westerner who fucking fights all the Asian dudes?
Get the shit kicked out of me.
Yeah, I noticed you have a propensity for being cast as
Ip Man is so good.
the bad guy a couple times here. I gotta say, you have a very high-level beard, and I think the more high-level your beard game is, the better you are being cast as a villain.
There you go. This is for my new villainous part.
Oh no!
I love how he barely flinches when you throw that first punch to test the range.
Look how cool he is. Donnie Yen, the legend. You know, for me to be in like what is a modern day Kung Fu movie was a big thrill because that's what you grew up watching, and they don't make as many as they used to. But to be in something like this, which is like the best sort of Kung Fu franchise of modern day times, what a thrill. It's not easy when you walk in on day 3, aching, and they say, "Ah, today's the day for all the kicks. Let's go." Day 3 is always the worst, you know, because you're doing it all day. You're doing it for 12 hours, and you're full on. And that's the thing, if you're a fighter, which I'm not, but, you know, you go in there for 25 minutes, you do your thing, that's it, you're done. But the thing about making films is you're doing it for 12 hours, and you can't stay.
Bro, this guy literally is hot Ben Affleck, dude. Like.
But the thing about making films.
What the fuck? Hotter Ben Affleck. It's great.
Is you're doing it for 12 hours and you can't stay warm for the whole time. You're going to cool down, and that's when you get the little tweaks and the injuries, and then day 2, day 3, day 4, those tweaks turn into proper problems that you've got to deal with, you know. I always see that bit where I do the back kick. It looks like my trousers have blown apart, but they haven't. Or maybe I'm always just checking out my ass. No, it's not there, but I always just see the split in the pants for some reason. Because that happens to me a lot in real life.
Oh, I gotta imagine.
Because I'm always going around throwing kicks at people.
That's true. What are your pants considerations? You must be like, you gotta reinforce.
It is a consideration.
Yeah.
It's something you have to think about. Yeah. It's funny because the fight is not choreographed beforehand. In Hong Kong, they do it on the spot. And I know I'm the bad guy, and I know he's going to kick my ass, but I'm thinking, well, how is he going to kick my ass? What is going to be my fate? And at this point, when they're explaining that they're breaking my arm, and then he punches you in the face, and then he hits you in the throat, and then he hits you in the nuts, and I'm thinking, could I go out like any more of a bitch? This is terrible. But that's just the way they do it in Hong Kong, very organic. But you have to be ready as a performer to be shown the choreography there and then. And you watch it, and you've got to pick it up pretty quick, and then you've got to get in there with Donnie Yen, one of the best guys ever, and do it at 100% speed, and know that choreography like that. It's a stressful situation.
How many takes does it take Donnie Yen to learn his choreography?
No, it's just immediately. That's the level. These guys are the pinnacle of making martial arts fight scenes. Oh, there's a story behind that I need to tell you. So the shot is he punches me, and then I go back and I kick him in the chest. Donnie comes up to me and he's like, I can just be this close to you when I punch you, and then you're going to move back. And he, in the rehearsal, he did it so fast, and it just literally touched my cheek, and I'm like, man. And so on take number 1, he hits me in the face really hard. It's like, bang, whoa! And then I did the kick. And he's like,
and then they're like, we're using that.
No, you've got to, once you get hit in the face, then you kick me in the chest. I'm like, yeah, but, okay. But I'll do it on the next take. Take number 2, I'm still a bit like freaked out. He does the punch, and I rush the kick, and I kick him straight in the throat.
Oh
and that's the one that they've used.
The take they used.
Yeah, straight in the throat. And he's like, you kicked me in the throat. You know? And it's Donnie Yen, you know. He was fine, but then what they did is they put the camera over my shoulder, and he's going to do the punch now, and I've just kicked him in the throat.
Oh no!
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, he's just gonna smack me now. It's payback time. So I've accepted my fate, and I'm just waiting for him to blast me in the face. All I can say is, thank you, Donnie. Thank you for not blasting me in the face after I kicked you in the throat. I love it when you get a hard hit. It looks fantastic, and you know, to be on the receiving end of that is another thing. But if a stuntman comes up to me and says, I'll take a proper hit for you, Scott, I'm not going to turn it down.
Okay.
And I'll say, great, mate, just put your face right there, and we're going to smash it at 48 frames a second. But
so in those situations, they find a lookalike who just gets absolutely humpstered. Like, they literally are just like, all right, time to fucking have someone get demolished. I mean, I guess when you think about it, they're literally, if you're a stuntman, you're jumping off buildings. Which, the impact ultimately is probably not as, or significantly worse than, like, getting punched in the face. And then he never looks alike again.
But, you know, you should never do that to a stunt guy that's not expecting it. You know, that's not ethical, it's not cool. But those guys that occasionally say, I'm going to take one for the team there, I'm going to give one to the gods of action. It's like, yeah, come on, because it looks great. I love it when you see Tony Jaa blast someone. Donnie Yen, Sammo Hung, there are those moments where they hit people hard.
Have you ever volunteered to take a hard hit for the camera?
I remember on The Shepherd saying to Van Damme, sidekick me as hard as you can. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, Scott. I said, no, it's fine. Because at the time, it's like, yeah, come on, give me your best shot. I can take it. And I'm offering it to you, Jean-Claude, because you're my hero. So please, just smack me as hard as you can. So I remember that.
Man, you've fought so many big names in the world of martial arts cinema.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, this guy beat everyone's ass, dude.
Have you fought Jet Li?
Yeah, Unleashed. Like, the first time I fought Jackie Chan was in a film called The Medallion.
No, I'm not overheating from some extra pepper. No, I'm really hot because, like, around this time of the day, usually whenever I'm eating, it gets, like, extra hot. And the AC stops working. I don't know what it is. Also, why are you backseating my fucking perspiration, dude? Crazy.
Fighting him on this boat. And I knew that if I did a good job as the henchman for this little piece of the fight, that they were going to give me the big end fight with Jackie Chan. So there's a bit where we throw these punches and then I've got to do this back kick. But I remember just being so stressed out because it's Jackie Chan, you know, and it's first film we're done with him.
You don't mean
he doesn't want some jackass coming in and blasting him with a back kick.
Yeah.
So it's very stressful. So on the first take, I hit him too lightly. Sammo Hung's the fight coordinator, and I hear him shouting over from the back, "Hit him harder! More power!" And then one of Jackie Chan's stunt team come up to me and they say, "Be very careful."
Oh no!
So I've got Sammo there shouting, "Hit him harder!" And I've got the stunt team looking at me like.
So Scott, you were one of the most requested guests on our show, and somehow through the power of the comments, you have manifested yourself into this space.
I came through the comments.
Yeah. So if there's somebody else that you would really like to have on this show, please leave a comment below suggesting them. I was so about equilibrium when I was 16.
Don Cotta, baby. One of the best things ever invented. When I was a kid, Oh my God. One of the greatest fucking action movies.
Years old.
It's gun kata, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's complete farce.
It's all sorts of goofy.
The thing that you got to give Christian Bale credit for is he is acting his ass off in this. Like, he's bought in so hard.
He's just trying to remember the choreography. It's not his fault. It's like, oh, nice. Yeah. Good work.
This movie was designed to hit every neuron in a teenage boy's mind.
He's done a backflip. I've done that one in a home movie that I made. It is available on YouTube called Gangsters. Definitely inspired by John Woo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dude, I love John Woo. Yeah. John Woo captures a bit of that Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, Yuen Biao like world of action, but he's not martial arts. He's into the gunplay and the pyrotechnics and special effects.
Well, he came from making martial arts films. Yeah. There were a lot of swordplay movies that he made, and if you look at the way he uses the gun, it's like the gun is an extension of your hand, as if a sword is.
Yeah.
So the way he's using the guns like that, I mean, obviously it doesn't make any sense in terms of your aim.
You're the only other person who's ever said that, because I've thought about that when I saw The Hard Boiled, because with a gun you're trying to not be where the gun is pointing, right? So it's just like a sword. You don't want to be where the sword is pointing, and you can see that in the choreography. And I've never heard anybody else put it into words except for you. You know what's up.
Yeah, come on. You know what's up too.
That same extension, John Wick 1 very much was using the gun as essentially an explosive close-range punch, right? The trick that they figured out, I think, for the John Wick movies was they were like, if we compress it and we go very close quarters with it and we treat gunshots and gunplay as essentially punches.
It's the same concept. Yeah.
It's fucking sick, dude.
The fight scene, it's cause and effect. So in a fight scene, you see the punch hit the guy, you see the guy react all in one shot with the gun. You see the gun fire, and you see the guy getting shot in the same shot. If you put an edit in there and cut to the guy getting shot, it's just not as good. Sergio Leone, when he came out with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they would never show the guy getting shot, the gun and the guy getting shot in the same shot before that, but he didn't know about that. So it was quite shocking to see the gun and the guy getting shot in the same, but everyone loved it because it was just more visceral and just looked amazing. And that's what John Woo does. Essentially, it's a lot of cause and effect.
Oh, you guys are crazy, yo. I have to read this take. That got your tongue hurting, huh? You praying that pop cools it off. I'm eating, motherfucker. Like, what is it to you, dude? To be fair, it was kind of funny, but still. Like, there's a reason why I'm tiny in the corner, okay? Watch the show, dog. Stop looking at what I'm eating. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Just shit blowing up around him and that. Chaos, yeah.
What?
This is a 1989 Sammo Hung directed movie called Pedicab Driver with some brilliant fights. And Sammo, he's known for hitting people hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No!
With the heel.
With the heel.
His whole body gets off the ground.
Now watch this guy next. Watch the next guy.
Oh, no!
No!
Oh my gosh.
All the way back. See, this is what I'm talking. Even that guy.
Bro, these movies used to just go no holes barred, balls to the wall. Just absolutely insane. Like, that's yeah. He recorded a murder, dude. He's just like, sick. This is snuff now.
The elbow connects.
God.
The elbow connects to that
guy.
But look at the camera work there. It's panning across there as he gets hit, and here it's going back there and back here again. It's all very interesting.
That's how you know. From watching enough Corridor Crew, I know this as well. But if they don't have fucking cuts between like every fight, every like punch and shit like that, if the cameras are not changing, if it's like shot with one camera, that's how you know it's real. Or the stuntmen are really fucking good. I mean, it's not real. It's never real. But like sometimes the hits that they fucking take are almost real and are real.
Watch this bit. Straight in the ass. Secret technique. That'll get you out of that situation, guaranteed. It's just brilliant. This is the golden age. This is when action, for me, was at its very best, and I don't think it's going to be equaled. The effort, the quality of the stunts, the physical stunts that you wouldn't do now, because you can do CG.
Because it's illegal, dude. What do you mean? There's unions, dog. That's why. Like, I get the argument for practical effects over CGI when it comes to like blood pellets and stuff. You know what I mean? It just like looks cool. Even though it is dangerous too. But as far as like, you know, just straight ass whoopings, dude, yeah. It's kind of illegal.
And everything. But they're just putting their bodies on the line back then because there was no other way of doing it other than you got to do it in camera. Yeah. And in those days in Hong Kong, it wasn't about, you know, car chases and big explosions because they didn't have the budget that, you know, Hollywood had. It was all about fighting and physical stunts. And that's why you got those crazy stunts where it looks like people have died.
Yeah, I remember this one.
That's how they were trying to up the ante and compete with Hollywood movies. Yeah. So I don't think we'll get it again. With CG and everything. The superhero movies, they take care of that quota, right?
Yeah.
Chat, is that true? The reason why they shot it in Hong Kong was because, you know, British, so no unions? Is that, or are you making that up? Get around like the same restrictions and regulations? Could be the case.
You're getting to see your fight scenes and action stuff in the superhero movies. So there's less martial arts movies. But then you've got stuff like John Wick, and you've got these directors coming through now that have come from the world of stunts.
Right.
Like Sam Hargrave with Extraction, Chad Stahelski, John Wick, David Leitch, Deadpool 2, and Hobbs and Shaw. So we're getting these new guys coming through from the stunt world that understand this, and they're putting their version of it. So actually, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah. This guy is like such a cool guy. I don't know how else to say it. Like, he's got such cool guy vibes. Someone in the chat asked me earlier, like, do you think he was never not cool? No. Like, this is a person who was always cool. This motherfucker was doing backflips when he was like 14. You know what I mean? Me, you can tell. You know, I got deep-seated insecurities. Okay? And they manifest every now and then. You can tell. This dude, just all cool, baby. Sigma male, through and through.
So to have a professional who is so well versed in this world share their knowledge with us, it's a gift. And Scott actually has a whole YouTube channel. It's The Art of Action, Scott Adkins, The Art of Action. There's a link in the description below. If you like this show, you definitely need to go check it out because it is Scott talking with some of the most accomplished martial artists and stuntmen, actors, stuntwomen in the world today, and revealing really in-depth insights. So if you enjoy this show, you think this is cool, well, go check out Scott's show because it's this.
You became cool recently, Law? Yeah. I know. I'm the born-again cool guy.
Yes, but even more.
It's like this, but better.
There it is.
Oh my god, this dude literally laughs like me. What the fuck? It's like freaking me out. But this is one of the greatest YouTube channels of all time. If you guys have never seen this, every frame of painting, probably like pound for pound, the most like action-packed, the most, it's incredible. It's shot beautifully. I haven't really watched it in a long time, actually. So I kind of want to watch it. I wonder why he quit. We just decided to end it rather than keep on making you stuff. He said he was doing editing full time now. This is why you can't pay editors, dude. Devin Art, this is my friend Tony's channel. He quit to do better things. I work with him now. Wait, really? Well, tell him I love his channel. I'm like I'm happy that he's doing well. It's probably one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time. So perfect. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's like this motherfucker literally turned. This dude literally turned beautiful movies and describing beautiful movies with his editing into art in and of itself. Describing the art in all these movies into art itself. You didn't subscribe? Why the fuck would I subscribe? I watched all their videos a long ass time ago. And they don't put out any new videos. Why am I subscribing? It's so good. I kind of want to watch, like, what's their best one, you think, chat? You're the reason why he stopped? Because Jackie Chan had to do action comedy? Sure.
Yes. Hello? Yes. This is Jackie speaking.
Hi, my name is Tony, and this is Every Frame a Painting. Some filmmakers can do action, others can do comedy. But for 40 years, the master of combining them has been Jackie Chan.
I wonder if this guy's going to fucking DM me too now. Or not DM me, send me a tweet like, hey man, can you not watch my videos, dude? I actually really love your reacts. But I just don't want you to do them anymore. And then that'll fucking go to the top of the leaderboard on LSF. Like, oh my fucking God, dude. Hasan does it again, dude. What won't he do? He's just the worst person, I think, on the internet, probably.
These days, there's a lot of movies that combine funny scenes with fight scenes. But even when the movie's good, the comedy and action seem to be two different directors and two different styles. And that's why Jackie's so interesting. In his style, action is comedy, and his work shows that the same filmmaking principles apply, whether you're trying to be funny or kick ass. So let's dive in. If you'd like to see the names of the films as I'm talking, press the CC button below. Ready? Let's go. So, how does Jackie create action that is also funny? First off, he gives himself a disadvantage.
Every time I ban someone, press the CC, it's on. What? Every time I ban someone for being condescending little shitter in the chat, like, well, didn't you fucking watch their unofficial videos on Patreon? It's like they weren't even mad, you fucking idiot. Okay? But every time I do that, that's another Reddit Andy, dude. There it goes. There it goes, dude. There goes my hero. You know? I just create like a new community of fucking psychos.
No matter what film, Jackie always starts beneath his opponent.
Yeah, he fucking banned me.
He has no shoes,
He banned
he's
me
handcuffed,
for saying,
he has a bomb in his mouth.
He was a piece of
From
shit.
this point, he has to fight his way back to the top. Each action creates a logical reaction. And by following the logic, we get a joke. In movies, this comedic style goes back to the silent clowns like Chaplin, Lloyd, and Keaton. But I think Jackie has distilled it down to one line of dialogue.
Please! I said I don't want trouble!
Because he's the underdog, Jackie has to get creative, which brings us to point number 2. He uses anything around him. This is the most famous aspect of his style. Take something familiar, do something unfamiliar. I've seen him fight with chairs, dresses, chopsticks, keyboards, Legos, refrigerators, and of course, Not only does this make each fight organic and grounded, it also gives us jokes that couldn't happen anywhere else. Number 3, Jackie likes clarity. He doesn't do dark scenes where everything is color-corrected blue. If his opponent wears black, he wears white. And if his opponent's in white, then he's styling. His framing is so clear that in every shot, he's setting up the next bit of action. Here, even though we're watching the stuntman, 2/3 of the frame is the staircase. A few seconds later, we see why. He keeps things clear by rarely using handheld or dolly moves.
Like an American movie, you can see there's a lot of movement. When the camera angle movement, that means the actor, they don't know how to fight.
In slow motion, you can see how the camera operator swings around to make the hits seem more violent. But since Jackie can fight...
You guys know Jackie Chan started off doing porn? Yeah. Why would you say that? Wait, what? Who cares? I don't have a problem with it. I think so did Sylvester Stallone, no? Yeah, China Daily. Oh my God, what the fuck is up with China Daily, bro? They literally show the scenes from the porn. What the fuck? I can't even show you this article, dude. It's literally just, it's showing cock, basically. I don't know, but yeah, he admitted to it. I mean, I know more than he admitted to it. I watched it, so I know, but yeah, Sylvester Stallone, I think, did porn too. I don't know who else.
I never move my camera. Always steady, wide angle. Let him see I jumping down, I do the flip, I do the fall.
When you shoot this way, everything looks more impressive because action and reaction are in the same frame. Notice how you can always see Jackie, the car, and the wall at the same time. But a similar stunt from Rush Hour 3 never includes all of the elements in the same shot, and it doesn't work. The same principle applies to comedy. This shot, directed by Sammo Hung, shows us the punch, the bad guy's face, and Jackie's face all in one. Now check out the same gag in Shanghai Noon. Here, action and reaction are separate shots. It kinda works, but
that sucks, dude. See? When he puts it like that, you're like, this is dog shit.
Not nearly as well. Why don't more directors do this? Because of number 5. They don't have enough time. Jackie is a perfectionist, willing to do as many takes as necessary to get it right. And in Hong Kong, he's supported by the studio, which gives him months to shoot a fight.
And the most difficult thing is when I throw the fan and coming back, more than 120 tick. Those kind of scenes, oh, Jackie, good. It's not good. You can do it. Except, do you have the patience or not?
When I rewatch his work, these little things are the ones I'm most impressed by. He doesn't need to do them and they eat into his budget, but he still does them because he wants to. And it's that going above and beyond that I respect and admire.
But in America, they don't allow you to do that, you know, because the money just poof, 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 poof.
And his American work is missing something else.
And there's a rhythm also into the way that the shots are performed.
Well, it's not just money, Jackie. There is one other reason why you can't do that in America. And that's like security. Half those shots and half those fight sequences that he puts out are impossible to recreate with today's current restrictions. No, I'm serious. It's literally a safety issue, chat. What the fuck are you talking about? Half the time when they do double cuts and jump cuts, it's because they don't want people to get in they don't want people to get like actually hit. Stop it. I'm serious. What? No, not the pencil or the fan. I'm talking about the wide angle that he was talking about, remember? Okay. So, remember how he showed something like this? Where was it? There's like a couple different things that he does here that like stuntmen are never going to be able to do in America. Okay? Like most of the stuff that he's doing here, stuntmen won't be able to do in America. Unless they're like, I guess, you know, shooting it for themselves. That's not what they're talking about now, though. No. I'm saying that half the time, the reason why those sequences are not, or the reason why those sequences are cut in the way that they are, is because they want to make sure that they're, you know, safe. They're safer, or they're as safe as possible. Does that make sense?
His American work is missing something else.
And there's a rhythm also into the way that the shots are performed and also the way they're edited. And Jackie said something very interesting that, you know, that the audience don't know the rhythm's there until it's not there.
Jackie's fight scenes have a distinct musical rhythm, a timing he works out on set with the performers.
Ready, action. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Don't chase me. Boom, boom. Then, boom. See? Everybody looks good.
Even experienced martial artists have trouble with it. In his earliest films, you see him learning the timing from Yuan Heping, and it's very much like Chinese opera. But by the mid-80s, working with his own stunt team, he had something totally unique. In America, many directors and editors don't understand this timing, and they ruin it by cutting on every single hit. But in Hong Kong, directors hold their shots long enough for the audience to feel the rhythm.
The most important part is editing. And most of the directors, they don't know how to editing. Even the stunt coordinator, they don't know.
That was not his first porn flick, okay?
How the editing.
Hong Kong directors like Jackie and Sammo cut a particular way. In the first shot, you hit your opponent in the wide. In the second shot, you get a nice close-up. But when you cut the shots together, you don't match continuity. At the end of shot 1, the elbow is here. At the beginning of shot 2, it's all the way back here. These 3 frames are for the audience's eyes to register the new shot, and they make all the difference.
I'm start from here, here, but 2 shots combined.
Oh yeah, this one. This is a shot. This is a stunt that will never happen in America, dude. Where? Watch. They're just beating her ass, dude. That's so funny. What the fuck? I love the sounds. Like the little... I mean, he's just literally doing that at that point. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a stunt. You're just doing the thing. Like, you're not faking it to, like, you know, make something else look like... I don't know how to describe it. It's like doing parkour on top of a fucking building, but just actually doing it. It's called a stunt, what? I mean, half the time, those things are, like, faked. And the reason for why they fake it is because, one, his hands, dude. You can hear it in the fucking movie. And two, he falls directly onto his back. Now that's probably like easy to break glass, whatever it's called. But still, like, you're fucking diving on, like, that's not a stunt. He's like really doing it. You know what I mean? He suffered electrical shocks, burns on his hands, a fractured finger, and an assortment of cuts and an injured pelvic bone and vertebrae.
This is zone. That's power.
In other words, show it twice, and the audience's mind will make it one hit that's stronger. By contrast, modern American editing doesn't show the hit at all. At the end of shot 1, the leg is here. At the beginning of shot 2, it's in the same place, going backwards. But because they cut at the exact frame of the hit, it doesn't feel like a hit. A lot of people think this is because of the PG-13 rating, but even R-rated films do this now. It looks like a bunch of people flailing around, instead of a bunch of people getting hurt. Ouch. Which brings us to number 8, pain. Unlike a lot of action stars who try to look invincible, Jackie gets hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot. Half the fun of his work is that not only are the stunts impressive, there's always room for a joke. Pain humanizes him, because no matter how skilled he is, he still gets smacked in the face. In fact, Jackie's face may actually be his greatest asset. Many times, the look he gives is all it takes to sell a joke, like when he does an entire fight holding a chicken. Or dressed as Chun-Li. And last, Jackie's style always ends with a real payoff for the audience. By fighting his way from the bottom, he earns the right to a spectacular finish. He doesn't win because he's a better fighter, he wins because he doesn't give up. This relentlessness makes many of his finales really impressive, and
Chatters who think Jackie Chan is a fanboy are going to be very sad to find out that he literally fucking abandoned his son for being gay. So.
And really funny. And it's
or was it daughter? Did I fuck it up? Yeah. Wait, she's homeless? What the fuck? Why'd you have to ruin? Wait, you guys thought this fucking like 60-year-old Chinese dude was gonna be fucking open-minded to like lesbians? What's up? And he abandoned his son for the weed smoking. Yeah, that's true. Saved? What? Because he joined the fucking Communist Party? Who cares, dude? What do you mean? I mean, he's still an asshole.
Direct contrast to a lot of his American work, where bad guys are defeated because someone shoots them. Come on! But most of all, I think Jackie's style proves something. Action and comedy aren't that different. In both genres, we want to see our best performers. And I think a lot of modern action directors are failing completely. These actors are skilled artists, some of the best in the world. Why are the directors so unskilled? Why am I paying money to not see the action?
Whatever you do the best you can, because the film live forever. No, because you know that they're raining and the actor don't have time. I said, would you go to every theater to tell the audience? No, the audience see on the theater, good movie, bad movie, that's all.
Exactly. This work will last. And on that note, I leave you with the greatest death scene in film history.
Very good. Fuck you, Hasan. You ruined my childhood. This one was really good too.
Hi, my name is Tony, and this is Every Frame of Painting. So today I'm going to talk about a director whose work I love, but before that, let me be upfront. I think comedy movies today, especially American ones, have totally lost their way. I don't hate the jokes or the actors or the dialogue or the stories, though there's plenty of issues there. My real qualm is that the filmmaking, the use of picture and sound to deliver jokes, is just...
What? This is boring. Delete.
Look, everyone's taste is different. What you find funny is what you find funny. So I'm not saying these movies suck or you suck if you like them. What I am saying is that these movies aren't movies. They're lightly edited improv. Everyone stands still and talks at each other in close-up. Almost none of these jokes come visually. They're overwhelmingly sound, and not even the full range of sound, it's just dialogue. And this is really sad because that's just a fraction of what's possible in cinema. Apart from animation and some commercials, visual comedy is actually moving backwards. And that's why, if you love this kind of stuff, I cannot recommend Edgar Wright enough.
Doctor, deal with it. Yeah, motherfucker.
He is one of the only people working in the genre using the full range of what is possible. And because of that, he can find humor in places that other people don't look. Here's an example. Let's say you need to move your character from one city to another to get your story going. How do you shoot it, and can you get a joke out of it? Well, no. Not if you send out a second unit to do it. Every shot pans from left to right, you include really obvious landmarks and signs, you mix in generic helicopter footage, and you put upbeat music under it so the audience doesn't get bored. This is just lazy filmmaking, and boring. We've seen it a million times. What would happen if you were truly inventive with this type of scene?
Ready.
There we go. And this isn't just a series of quick cuts. There's a lot of good visual storytelling here. These two taxi shots tell you exactly where we came from and where we're going. These two shots emphasize the move away from civilization. Our main character always faces forward or to the right, so screen direction is respected. Turning the music down and the sound effects up is funny because each cut is jarring. And there's even some nice performances from Simon Pegg and Ryan Gosling. Okay, that was one example without context. You're right, totally unfair. Well, what if you had a movie where a horrible apocalyptic event happens and you want to foreshadow it earlier, maybe by having the characters not notice something important on TV? How would you show it? Would you just throw it in the edit for 2 seconds and 2 frames and none of the shots shows the relationship between the characters and the TV?
He's having a housewarming party? Just finished building his house?
Or would you do this?
Although no one official is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day. There's panic on the streets of London as an increasing number of reports of serious attacks on people who are literally being eaten alive.
Okay, still unfair. Well, what if you had a movie where one character has stopped drinking, but the other characters are disappointed in him and you want to get a joke out of it? How would you do it? Would they just stand around and talk about his drinking?
Appreciate it, but I told my wife I wouldn't drink tonight. Besides, I got a big day tomorrow. But you guys have a great time.
A big day? Doing what?
Or would you do this?
What?
I don't believe this.
This is what separates a mediocre director from a great one. The ability to take the most simple, mundane scenes and find new ways to do them. Great directors understand that you can get a laugh just through staging. Here's an example I cribbed from David Bordwell. Things popping up into frame are funny.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
And it's not just things entering frame. Consider the opposite.
I said tell Miss Laura goodbye.
Bye, Miss Laura.
You can get a laugh from a zoom.
You want to pop the trunk and roll the windows down, please?
You can get a laugh from a crane up.
I'm so sorry. I'm going home, Rita. I know, Shirley, I know.
No, seriously, I'm going home. Can you help me out?
Oh. You can get a laugh from a pan.
Oh no.
As Martin Scorsese put it, cinema's
all bullshit, like all the crazy shit that Louis C.K. has done that's like abusing or creepy aside. Did you guys know that this motherfucker literally edited everything on his TV show on his MacBook, 13-inch MacBook Pro? Yeah. He edited the entire show on his 13-inch MacBook Pro or 15-inch Mac Pro, whatever the normal one is. How crazy is that? The dude is a perfectionist when it comes to making movies that are perfectly cut. Yeah. Crazy.
It's a matter of what's in the frame and what's not in the frame. So think about the frame.
Too bad he showed more respect to filmmaking than people. I know. But I disrespect you guys all the time too. Like when I tell you it's the ad break, you know? Like it's top of the hour, every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break. You know what I mean? When I say stuff like that. And then I follow up and I tell you, like, you know, you can avoid the ads if you subscribe either for $5 or for free. Right? Because you can use a Twitch Prime. Yeah. Or you can use an ad blocker VPN. Here it is. Brigham Young University has a Virginity. I'm waiting for the ad break to end. I'm waiting for the ad break to end. Stop yelling. Okay, it's done.
And this isn't just a matter of smart or stupid comedy.
Not stop yelling, but like stop crying.
Really, if it worked.
What's the point of subbing them, bro? Dude, you're not even a sub. What's wrong with you? I'm literally being courteous for people like you. And this motherfucker's like talking shit, dude. What an insane situation, boys. You kind of get the point, brother. It's never about just like subscribing to fucking skip the ads. It's just one option that you have. Classic capitalist worker. Yeah, literally. Dude, fuck you, dude. What's up? Why are you fucking waiting, dude? Literally ban him? No, I'm not going to do that.
It works. So with that, here are 8 things Edgar Wright does with picture and sound that I want to see other comedy filmmakers try out. Number 1, things entering the frame in funny ways.
It's listening. It's for Scott.
The geographical location shouldn't factor in the application of the law. No thanks.
Number 2, people leaving the frame in funny ways.
You don't know how to switch off.
You know what I really respect about this guy and just like people like this who do very good people who do like very good analysis on stuff like this, on movies, they see the movie in such a unique way. Like I watch movies like this, I never realize this stuff. Like I never go, man, that attention to detail is just not there for me. You know what I mean? Wow, like a cake is coming into the scene in a funny way. Literally friends with Will. Yeah, so what? Yeah, he looks at movies like this, but I don't. Oh, brother, we got bots again, dude. Why would you? You're a humbo. That's what I am. I'm a humbo. What's a humbo, dude?
No thanks.
Number 2, people leaving the frame in funny ways.
If you study this shit, you just look through it a different lens. You know what I also think, though? Doesn't this kind of fucking ruin movies for you? I don't know. Like, I feel like... No, everyone's resounding no. Never mind. I was wrong.
You don't know how to switch off.
Yeah, if you didn't see anything suspicious, then who did?
Number 3, there and back again.
They still out there. Yeah.
Number 4, matching scene transitions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one.
Wallace, how do you do
Dude, that shit is so good, dude. That's so fucking good.
that? Wallace!
Number 5, the perfectly timed sound effect.
That time you dumped Kim.
Okay, me and Kim are all good now, all right?
Do feel free to spool through.
Number 6, action synchronized to the music.
I mean, Baby Driver is literally that, but a movie. Like what he's this is just like what Baby Driver is as a movie.
Drinking beer pubs. Shall we?
Number 7, super dramatic lighting cues.
I'm gonna be a man.
I don't know what it is about that girl.
Scott, I forbid you from hitting on Ramona. Even if you...
Chat, I know that's Edgar Wright. I know, it's like one of Will's favorite fucking movies / directors, dude.
haven't had a real girlfriend in over a year.
That's Aubrey Plaza, idiot! No, you're wrong! You're wrong! That's not Aubrey Plaza, foot Craigasm. That's actually Michael fucking Sarah. I hope you feel stupid about that. Yeah, you're fucking wrong. I love Hot Fuzz. Great movie.
And number 8.
I'm taking a shortcut before.
And you know what? Let's throw in number 9.
Let him have it.
So if you're a filmmaker, work on this. The frame is a playground, so play. And the next time you go to a theater and you pay $15 to see a comedy, don't be satisfied with shit that is less inventive than Vine.
And he said, that's strange because...
BYU Virginity page the greatest thing. They want to boycott the Olympics because athletes have a lot of sex. This is not real, dude. There's no shot. This is like a real fucking thing, dude. Okay? No shot. I don't believe it. What does Brigham Young Virginia Club think about boycotting the 2022 Beijing Olympics? Recently, many have asked us to chime in on the debate boycotting the Olympics in 2022. It is Mormons, so I don't know if it's fucking real or not, actually. It could be real. This is a complex topic. Dude, why does everyone talk like this on the internet now? There's no way this is real. It's just like the Instagram infographic way of speaking is so prevalent. And like every Zoomer talks like this when they're yelling at you on like a 67 fucking take thread. To be fair, I prefer that to like the screeches of the fucking debate lords like, Ray, you will not debate this person because you're terrified. You are intellectually inferior to my favorite commentator. Like, I prefer this to that, if we're being honest. But it is really, like, just chill the fuck out, dude. Here's what you can do to help. It's a meme page, right? Yeah, of course it is. There's no shot this is real. For example, what does the Bible say about hot girl summer? Oh, this is... Okay, this is very clearly a joke. Fucking Jimmy Taser like that. After a year and a half of quarantine, some young adults are looking forward to a summer of sun, skin, and soaks. Sue? What? But the Bible warns us against the sinful nature of hot girl summer. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. I know it's been a while since we last posted, but our admins were taking a social media fast to grow closer to God. While missionary work isn't easy, it feels good to be an instrument in the Lord's hand. Instead of hot girl summer, try practicing pious girl summer. Dude, this account is fucking hilarious. That's great. Whoever did this did a really good job. A summer full of scripture, sun, and self-improvement through religious piety. And remember, modest is hottest. Wait, what? What is this? I'm worried that there's gonna be like TOS or some shit. Extremely disappointed to announce that one of our admins has lost their virginity and will be stepping down from club leadership effective immediately. Thank God, dude. This is just like bringing me back to the fucking Provos, but also those Mormons were fucking lip hungry, dude. What is XYZ? Why Little Nas XYZ? Montero is not virgin approved. Is your account disabled? I can't see it. What do you mean? I'm literally on my account right now. Like I'm currently on my account on my desktop, dude. No, it is not disabled, my friend. That's pretty funny. All right, let's get back to it. Let's finish this. Or wait, we already did finish it. What the fuck? I actually finished videos today, dude. That's actually crazy. Lil Nas X is actual garbage? Why? I finished so many videos today. I feel so good about it. We stand in solidarity with the Cuban people and condemn the suppression of the media, speech, and protest. We also call for an end to the U.S. embargo and additional Trump-era restrictions. What additional Trump-era restrictions that are profoundly contributing to the suffering of Cubans? Yeah, good take. I mean, people will get mad at this and be like, why is she even bringing up suppression of the media? It's like, dude, you can't. Actually, let's read the full statement. Blaming it on Trump is a bad take? No, it's not. That's a tactical decision. That, my friends, is absolutely a tactical decision. It's literally the opposite of a bad take. It is a very good way to drive home that message that, like, yo, what's up, liberals? Like, so we're good? We're cool with Trump era fucking restrictions now? Like, what's going on? Why hasn't Biden done anything? Like, why hasn't Biden really ended the Trump era actions? That's kind of odd. Can you point to Cuba on a map? I pointed to Cuba with my penis when I fucked your mom last night. Doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't matter, dude. Fucking absolutely destroyed. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know. It's just like, now I'm just fucking saying stuff, okay? Doesn't even have to make sense. You're fucking grounded, by the way, okay? Grounded. I'm your dad now, and you're fucking grounded. It's desperation. It's just shallow music factory pop. What? Bro, this guy thinks he's in a different chat, I think. Is that a shot at Oronouns? This guy does not understand what the joke is. I don't know what the fuck. I thought Cuba was a shithole. You pointed to that? Wait, what? No, Cuba's not a shithole at all. It's fucking beautiful, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna fucking ban you, actually. I mean, he also said Baby Driver is not good. Guy says grifter. Irish people. Just wait, let's look. As someone that supports the police, I 100% agree. Up the IRA, Pago. Oh. Damn, this dude is like, see that? We caught one, okay? What we have in our sights here, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't have. Oh, please, just ban me. Please, no. What we have in our sights right here is one of those chatters that just only says awful shit in the chat. Okay? Four timeouts? No, he's just only here for a little bit, dude. Oh, new pet? No, he was... The guy that asked you to find Cuba on a map is like that too. Your rhetoric and the rhetoric of the people you... Oh, God. This is why I fucking ban people. Like, your rhetoric and the rhetoric of your people encourage this behavior. It would be immediate civil war. You were completely wrong on all your predictions relating to the election. What the fuck are you talking about? How do you explain it being so spot on? I wonder who he's talking about. Yeah, like Delaney, right? Consistent trolling. Why do these fucking losers come in here, bro? You literally have your own community. Please, like, get the fuck out of here. They literally spend time everywhere else. Like, they just don't want to... They don't want to watch their own fucking own daddy. So they, like, come here because it's not making fun content for them. You watch me more than you watch fucking Destiny, dude. That's so weird. They spend more time on fucking LSF, upvoting, downvoting anything that is like remotely offering context. And like upvoting fucking clips of Destiny than anything else, dude. Because they know they can get under your skin. I mean, we just purge them and then we're done. You know what I mean? It's so strange. Kind of rent-free. Dude, it's the definition. I mean, thank you guys for improving my fucking stats. Like, that's all you are to me. Let's be real. You're, like, literally just worthless dick skin that just, you know, that come in here and, like, try to fuck shit up in the chat. Yeah. You know, one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. You know what I'm saying? You are just a fucking statistic, dude. All your fans? No, dumbass. I'm not talking about all of you guys in here. Shut the fuck up, Tyler J. Okay. I'm talking about the idiotic shitters in the chat who are like, they come around and the only thing they say is just like, spreading negativity. Like this guy. You want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? I know you're baiting. Do you want it? You think it's a funny bait? Merca 13. You have 10 seconds to answer. Who has over 1K comments about me on Reddit? All right, fuck it. Yeah, I murdered him. Damn. His last words before was, trust, just ask RTBA. Oh no. RTBA is not here right now. For the first time ever, he has to do like actual moderation in other places on the internet. He's like actually having to work on another community for the first time in a long ass time, dude. You know, they're getting a lot more coverage today than they have in a long time. Anyone talking about Cuba having no free speech is like, no, there certainly you're wrong. First of all, most places on the planet do not have as unrestricted free speech as the United States of America, especially for white people, or like their own version of white people, whatever it will be, the dominant class. But the United States is unique in its nature. What's RTBA saying? But in Cuba, you do get punishments for speaking out against the government and numerous other things. Dude, I'm so fucking tired today. Holy shit. You do get punishments for speaking out and engaging in, like, you know, counter-revolutionary behavior, rhetoric, shit like that. But the punishments are kind of similar to, you're getting a bunch of follows, I'm going to nuke some shit. Oh, thank you. The punishments are akin to, in a lot of instances, whatchamacallit, like the shit that you get clapped in the UK for, like, you know, sig heiling or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they'll give you like fines, and for a lot of Cuban people, like, they might not be able to pay for that fine. Let me call that you crashed at 5 in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I know. Dude, this is the bang. This is the crash after the bang, dude. No shit, they have to suppress counter-revolutionaries. They face a decades-long onslaught from the world's most powerful imperialist force in the world. No, I know. I mentioned that already. I always mention that. They've always been in wartime for the past 70 fucking years. And one way to dismiss that narrative, or to dismantle that idea, and to show the world truly that Castro and the holy fuck. Oh my god, dude. Aiden literally was like, yo, you're getting a lot of new follows. I'm gonna fucking rip some bots right here. Oh, it's still, oh yeah, 3 minutes ago I got fucking hella botted. Hey, what I tell you, brother, that's just the statistic, all right? No, that's not an auto timeout. He's just clapping bots, dude. That was great, Aiden. Look at the staff, dude. They're celebrating each other in here. Look at them. They're clapping at each other. Look. You see this? They're not done yet. This is what they're doing, chat. They're fucking banning you guys right now. How does the follow bot thing work? I don't want to give it away. But you can kind of tell from the names. But there are ways to figure it out. That's all I'll say. We are seeing Cubans rise up and protest for their rights like never before. We stand in solidarity with them, and then we condemn the anti-democratic actions led by President Diaz-Canel. The suppression of the media, speech, and protests are all gross violations of civil rights. We must also name the U.S. contribution to Cuban suffering, our 60-year-old embargo. Last month, once again, the UN voted overwhelmingly to call on the United States to lift this embargo on Cuba. Guys, when you get fucking mad at AOC for this statement, you have to realize that, like, I can say this shit about Cuba, and intellectuals, I'm not saying I am one, I'm not, I'm an idiot, but intellectuals can say what I said about Cuba, and many often do. But when it comes to politicians, like, there's an extent to what they can say within the confines of, like, American acceptability. Functionally, when you rob something of context, what's happening in Cuba with respect to suppression of speech is always going to be considered inhumane and vile. Even I recognize that and say that. While I understand the context in which Cuba engages in such suppression of speech, does not change the reality that, meanwhile, Republicans are calling the bomb Cuba. Yeah, literally. Does not change the reality that that, in and of itself, is still a violation. Unfortunately, one of the counter-revolutionary actions is speaking out about racism in Cuba as well, since they see it as an in for the CIA. They made great strides in the past few years, and it's way better for black people in Cuba than it was or would be under U.S. influence. Still, there are definitely disparities. Oh, I'm sure. My favorite type of chatter. You do know that the main reason why Cuba is failing is because of their trash econ policies and government corruption rather than the embargo. Yeah, dude. It's always that. Anti-demographic horseshit that justifies the embargo. You think saying that anti-democratic actions like suppression of media and speech is a justification for the embargo? This is way better than you take low key. Yeah, look, see? See, chatters? It's for the fucking idiots. There you go. It's for people who literally are just brain rotted with liberalism and fail to comprehend the full context of a situation. That's what this take is for. It's not for you. It's for that motherfucker, dude. Reminds me of Commie Cope. Why is it that whenever fucking a certain community gets like brought up, there's so many like holdouts, dude, and you guys sound exactly like fucking 4chan virgins, dude. Just stop. You literally fucking you write shit like you literally just write in the same way. You know how like Instagram infographics are written in a way? Chomsky wrote back to me. The best work on Cuba's astonishing role in Southern Africa is by Piero Glages, a fine international relations scholar at Johns Hopkins. He's highly respected in scholarly circles, but nothing can break through the iron wall of doctrine on Cuba. Pretty remarkable in free society. There's a lot to criticize about the Cuban government. In fact, I've done so on Cuban national TV and radio, and in public meetings in Havana. But their record is positively saintly as compared with the U.S.-backed states of the region, and there's a lot to admire too. It's also true that there are hideous human rights abuses in Cuba, some of the worst in the hemisphere. Oh my God, it's the same debate I did this morning, dude, in the Gitmo horror chamber. My man's like 98 years old. He's still fucking... It's amazing that Cuba has survived the relentless 60-year U.S. assault and now perhaps on the verge of triumph by crushing the Cuban economy. The reaction in the mainstream here is despicable. I love that you're reading this like a banger tweet. I mean, I don't know. It's great. He's great. What do you say to people who call Chomsky controlled opposition? No, they're just fucking saying that because he's an anarchist. That's it. It's because he's, I don't know how else to describe it. He's a fucking anarchist, dude. That's it. That's literally it. So, of course, he's going to have some takes that are, you know, what's the word? not theoretical, but to, well, definitely, yes, anti-state. No, but that's not what I was going to say. No, idealistic is what I was thinking of. And someone in the chat also wrote it just now. Idealistic. Utopian. No, it's idealistic was the word I was looking for. Not as practical. He's a shit-lip sellout, just like Bernie. Says humanity collapses 2100. Dude, you watch me. Like, I'm a fucking bigger shit-lip sellout than both of those guys. At least they, like, you know, wrote books and stuff and, or literally ran for office. Okay? I'm a fucking Twitch streamer. Jesus, what anarchist voted for Joe Biden? Well, he did. Noam Chomsky did. I think his best take was on the Haas court. Don't even get started. But I'm sure lots of anarchists voted for Biden. Anarchists in America are not like anarchists in the UK. They're not as like fucking rad libby. Some are here as well, but I feel like UK anarchists are a different breed. What do you mean, what the fuck? UK anarchists are so crusty, dude. I mean, the entirety of like Escaping the Vampire Castle or whatever the fuck it's called is like literally written on how crusty and idealistic UK anarchists are. Exiting the Vampire Castle. Don't make me read it. You know I hate reading. They're so crusty, dude. Left-wing Twitter can often be a miserable, dispiriting zone. Earlier this year, there were some high-profile Twitter storms in which particular left-identifying figures were called out and condemned. What these figures had said was sometimes objectionable, but nevertheless, the way in which they were personally vilified and hounded left a horrible residue. The stench of bad conscience and witch-hunting moralism. The reason I didn't speak out on any of these incidents, I'm ashamed to say, was fear. The bullies were in another part of the playground. I didn't want to attract their attention to me. The open savagery of these exchanges was accompanied by something more pervasive, and for that reason perhaps more debilitating, an atmosphere of snarky resentment. The most frequent object of this resentment is Owen Jones, and the attacks on Jones, the person most responsible for raising class consciousness in the UK in the last few years, were one of the reasons I was so dejected. If this is what happens to a left-winger who is actually succeeding in taking the struggle to the center ground of British life, why would anyone want to follow him into the mainstream? Is the only way to avoid this drip feed of abuse to remain in a position of impotent marginality? Yes. Yes, my friend. Absolutely, Mark Fisher. The way to do it is by being impotent and marginal. This is what being a leftist is about. And the more impotent you are, the more marginal you are, the more leftist you are. Everyone knows this. Then there was Russell Brand. I've long been an admirer of Brand. Hold on. Let's keep going. Where is the part about anarchists? Hold on. The accent is so bad, dude. Stop. Yeah, I don't care. You know why? Oh, here it is. Neo-anarchy in the UK. The second libidinal formation is neo-anarchism. By neo-anarchists, I definitely do not mean anarchists or syndicalists involved in actual workplace organizations, such as Solidarity Federation. I mean rather, those who identify as anarchists, but whose involvement in politics extends little beyond student protests and occupations, and commenting on Twitter. Like the denizens of the vampire's castle, neo-anarchists usually come from a petite bourgeois background, if not from somewhere even more class privileged. Okay? They're also overwhelmingly young, in their 20s, or at most the early 30s, and what informs the neo-anarchist position is a narrow historical horizon. Neo-anarchists have experienced nothing but capitalist realism. That's when you do a... Boys, you know what that is? That's when you do a title card read, okay? Like, you know when the movie opens and a character says the name of the movie? This is that moment, okay? Yeah. By the time the neo-anarchists had come to political consciousness, and many of them have come to political consciousness remarkably recently, given their level of bullish swagger they sometimes display, the Labour Party had become a Blairite shell, implementing neoliberalism with a small dose of social justice on the side. But the problem with neo-anarchism is that it unthinkingly reflects the historical moment rather than offering any escape from it. It forgets, or perhaps is genuinely unaware of, the Labour Party's role in nationalizing major industries and utilities or founding the National Health Service. Neo-anarchists will assert that parliamentary politics never changed anything. These are the anti-electoralists, my friends. Or the Labour Party was always useless while attending protests about the NHS or retweeting complaints about the dismantling of what remains of the welfare state. There's a strange implicit rule here. It's okay to protest against what Parliament has done, but it's not all right to enter into Parliament or the mass media to attempt to engineer change from there. Yeah, average Cuba counter-revolutionary. We saw that already, yeah. Just like a person who is discovering that they're surrounded by Trump fans and MAGA people with respect to the issue on Cuba. Won't read theory, but we'll carry on with this bit. Shut up, bitch. Biden on communism.
Well, let me start off by answering...
Don't do it, Biden. Don't do it, Biden! You changed her bio? No more BLM? Shut the fuck up. Are you serious? She took BLM out of her bio this morning after, like, people started quote tweeting it?
The question relative to Haiti and Cuba. And communism is a failed system.
No! No! What? No! No, dude. Fuck. God, I'm so devastated, dude. I really thought he was the Trojan horse. You were the chosen one. You were the fucking chosen one, bruv. Her bio says, fuck communism. Fuck you if you support communism. Damn, bro. She attended one BLM, not BLM. She attended one fucking MAGA rally, and all of a sudden her bio went from like hashtag BLM, hashtag, you know, LGBT pride, hashtag ACAP to like, yo, you fucking support communism, you fucking piece of shit, dude. Fucking, we're gonna fucking round you up and put you in camps, you fucks. If you think that's bad, imagine what kind of government would come to power in Cuba if the U.S. regime change effort succeeds. Ironically, she's exactly who the essay is referring to. We're in America. We don't even have like this level, dude. We're just... Our anarchists are crusty, but not as crusty as the UK brovs. Dude, I am so tired. Holy fuck. All right. I'm going to end it here, boys. I know I said we're going to do murder today, but I have to hang out with my brother tonight. It's his birthday this weekend. So we are going to have fun together. We're going to go out to like dinner and stuff. Speaking of British, can you check your P.O. box this weekend, please? Yes, I will. I'll probably do my my B-Day P.O. box type thing soon too. Like, anyway, here's the last 3-minute ad break here. It was a good stream overall. We had some ups and we had some downs, you know. Wanted to end it on a low note with Joe Biden saying communism has never worked. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Absolutely mental, bruv. Mental. Read State and Revolution on stream tomorrow? Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that, dude. But you should read State and Revolution. Where is does anyone have the outro song? Bookmark it, dude. I know. Oh, thank you, Fizz. This makes me so sad, dude.
Stunning lo-fi introduction, starting off the...
Anyway, boys, girls, MBs, I love you all.
All the chatter's trickling in. Also, people, hey.
I will see you tomorrow.
Sunny Los Angeles,
I'm gonna go hang out with my brother. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah. I don't know why, like every time I play this song, it just feels like I'm never gonna stream again or something. But of course, like, you know, it's not a goodbye; it's a see you later, as always. You know. Anyway, bye, guys.
Sun is streaming. There he is again. The sun is streaming. The sun is streaming. Reviewing the P.O. box, Uncle Euchre's face. Sudden discord agitprop, gray names take on race. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your fingertips, and Anya out your door. The H3 Crowder debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, and plenty more to go. 90-day fiancé, talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot in DC. There he is again. Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again. Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. Reading live stream fail comment.